Hello, everyone, and welcome to Magic Friday. I'm your host, Jamie D. Grant. We are here today to talk about the Yigal Miseka's Spider Pen Pro. We're not only here to talk about the spider pen itself, but about the effect. Magic Friday is always about doing one effect all day. So the effect I did was the floating bill. The floating bill has been around since they invented bills, I'm sure Julius Caesar or whoever it was had his court magician float a bill for him. It's been around forever. There's been different methods over the years. In today's method, we're going to talk about the spider pen. So, what the audience sees. The audience sees is pretty self-explanatory, which makes it such a great effect. Jamie made a bill float in front of our eyes. Very clear. You don't get much clearer than that. An interesting note about what the audience sees, or it just reminds me of an audience, was I did a gig years ago at some club. It was their 10th anniversary or something, and it was a typical club, and it's dark and it's think Jersey Shore, and I'm doing magic, walk around magic. I had to do almost everything silent because the music was so loud. And I was doing magic for a group of 4. There's 2 guys, 2 girls. And one of the guys, perfect hair, muscle shirt, he's like, "You're amazing. Can I show you something?" And I always say, "Absolutely. I'd love to see whatever you got." He takes out a bill and he floats it right in front of us. Like our table, the table I was at went crazy. The other people are looking in. Like it was truly amazing. I was like, that is absolutely fantastic. And he was set up to go. Like he was ready to go. He does his hair, puts on his shirt, and it was the only thing he knew. It was the only piece of magic he had learned in his life. He didn't consider himself a magician. I pulled him aside, and what else do you know? Music was loud. And he's like, "Nothing." But that was just something that he had picked up. And the interesting thing is that even though you kind of take away from that story, everyone must know it. Nobody knew how it worked at the club, and I can guarantee you that today, which is Friday, nobody knew today either. So, yeah, just one of those weird anecdotes. He was just set. So, the spider pen. Let's talk about how it went. The question I have is, do I believe that my audience believes that I can float things? Do I honestly believe that? Do I believe that everyone today is now talking to their boyfriends and girlfriends and going, "Oh my gosh, you should have seen Jamie. Jamie has the power to levitate." Float. Part of me says, yeah, a little bit, yeah, but sometimes magic is all about setting the mood. I'm all about, when I show magic to people, I use this line all the time is, this is a specific moment in time. I also use the kind of the hypnotism plot where I tell people, I'm going to hypnotize you for 1 second and you're going to think that this bill is floating. I find hypnotism is a little bit more of a belief. People will believe they're hypnotized more than they believe that I can fly or float or whatever. So, to get into that, though, it's about setting the mood. So today was one of the first Magic Fridays where I didn't do just the floating bill. I actually did a card effect first to kind of just set the mood. And the card effect I have the book here, was from the Time Travel Manual. There's some good stuff in here. And I did an effect by Josh Janman, the Back to the Future. So the reason why I chose this effect was I kind of had a tie-in with the bill. It just set the mood. I talked about the past and present, and it just kind of got I made it a little bit more serious. Because if I walk in, I'm like, "Hey, how's it going? What's up?" Bam, it's just a little bit too. It just doesn't fly, I don't think. So today, because I set it up a bit, it went awesome. It went great. Like the bill. So I'd say we talked about time travel, and the way that some people believe in time travel is that they've been hypnotized and they go back in time and they have these recurring dreams. So I'm going to hypnotize you right now. I'm going to make you think that this bill, now take out my, $5 bill or whatever, is going to float in front of your very eyes. And I'll see, can I point the camera down here? Let's see if I can do this. There we go. I'm going to hypnotize you to believe that this bill is actually floating before your very eyes. It looks like it, doesn't it? You actually believe it. So that's kind of where we're at. I do the hypnotism presentation a fair bit when I kind of want to get serious. So we should talk about the actual spider pen, because I'm sure that's what all of you are dying to know. And I'll be honest. I've never done levitating bill. Even after that gig all those years ago, I just thought it was impractical for me. So I never really explored it too much. I know that there's many different ways, of floating a bill. There's different things. We'll just call them things. So I can't, unfortunately, compare the spider pen compared to a classic ITR or even the old spider pen. This is the Pro. I can just only talk about spider pen Pro and the bill floating. And I have to say that the Spider Pen Pro is fantastic. I was going to say it works, don't get me wrong, it works beautifully. It just didn't work beautifully when I got it out of the box. There is some, and I don't think this is a fault to Yigal. I don't know how you could have this ready to go out of the box, if you know what I'm talking about. I think it's an impossible, from someone that makes effects, and I think it's logistically impossible to have it shipped and you take it out and start floating things around your house. There is some work that you need to do. You can look online. I've seen some things online about guys talking about the things that you have to do. I'm just actually right there. I just reset it. I don't know how you can fix that. There's definitely some frustration, a little bit of frustration to get it started. But in the end, and by the end I'm talking 30 minutes, set for my gigs. Set. Like I did it, not 50 times today, maybe, today was slower, about 10 or so times today. So I had no problems. And if you know what I'm talking about, there can be many, many different kinds of problems that you could be dealing with. And I had none of those today. Just doing it right here. So the pen itself, do I believe that it's a writing pen? I mean, it is a writing pen, yeah, for sure. The thing about the pen versus others, I mean, I think I saw on the WPR, they're talking about how it's James Bondy, and I love that aspect. I love having real objects on me at all time. No, it doesn't matter though in the end. Like I'm not handing this pen out and saying, look, this watch is a normal watch, this pen, these rings, like I'm not, it never comes up. If your magic is solid and the presentation is right and the effect, works well, there should be, none of that should even matter. None of that matters. None of the props should matter in the end. If you've done your job, the only thing that matters is the effect. And today's effect is, a bill floats. And actually the effect for them today for my presentation was I got hypnotized very briefly. So the pen actually doesn't matter. You can use any method of floating a bill you want. I particularly like the pen, however, because it's a real pen. What can I tell you? It's not unnatural, specifically for me to have a pen on my body anyway. If I had a big, floating hula hoop of magic on my shoulder, yeah, that would look out of place. So this does not look out of place. It works amazingly well once you get it set up. And there is, like I mentioned earlier, there's a bit of setup that can maybe want you to blow your head off, but once you get it set up, it's worth it. So yeah, it's great. It's so quiet, it blows my mind. It's so well made. It's truly amazing. It really truly is an amazing piece of apparatus. So Yigal gets my kudos for that. I wish I could compare it. I don't know what the old Spider Pen was or what the difference is. All I know is that this worked today. So Best lines of the day today were usually there. Today it was a big swear word day today. I can't curse on here. It's my personal rule. Just insert any holy what the and it those are all the best lines from today. No one interesting note on the best lines is no one grabbed for it. No one went like holy fuck. Yeah, it was just it's an interesting thought that they were just, it was just blanket shock. Typically, you know, when you do a card effect and what the, give me that. There was none of that with the bill, which I thought interesting. And I had prepared for if people were to, to grab it or something else actually reminded of this is maybe this should go into the JDG tip, which is I had something prepped for the $5 bill if it failed. And I was going to go into a bar trick. So I had already pre-planned that if something went wrong and I couldn't float it, so my mind was, in my mind, I was going to play it out was, I'm going to hypnotize you for 1 second. You're actually going to believe that this $5 bill is floating. And if it didn't float, my plan was to be, how could I hypnotize you? That would be incredible if I could actually hypnotize you. But this $5 bill, I'm going to bet you that I can do something. And then my plan was to do either the jumping paper clips or I've got a million bar tricks that I was going to do with the bill. But I definitely had a backup plan because I was terrified. I'll be honest, I was terrified. It took me a while. I have trust issues. Maybe that's why I've never done the floating bill for all these years. I have trust issues with certain apparatus. And it was, there was no need for it. Nothing happened. It went well. It went so well. Angry Bob. Everyone wants to know what Angry Bob thinks. Angry Bob, unfortunately, knows exactly what's going on. So today was a great day for Angry Bob. Kudos to Angry Bob for not exposing in front of everyone and ruining it. He was. That's because he was not angry. He knew exactly how it worked. He was not fooled. Therefore, he was in a good mood. Yeah, you're not going to fool magicians with a floating bill. I don't think. They might ask, you know, what are you using? But yeah, I don't think it's magician fooler. But like that guy at that club, it is, and today, it is an audience fooler. Really. Funny, hey? It's funny that you think, like even, you know, the spinning card that we all see on, you know, the Vegas streets. Like how many people have been to every person that's watching this probably knows their friends. Everyone has gone to Vegas. Everyone. And so everyone's seen the spinning card. But I could still walk outside right now, go spin a card, and people would not know. And you know the proof of that is that people still stop on the street of Vegas and watch the spinning card. Like, you know, you see it, they still stop and watch. After thousands of millions of times of seeing it, no one walks by and just, I mean, some people walk by, I'm sure, but it still gets a crowd. It's weird, hey? The JDG tip, like I said, have a backup plan. Make sure you have a backup plan. Another tip that I have for you specifically, because I'm so specific about all my stuff, I have it here somewhere. Did I lose it? Nope. I bought a glass vial. I don't know, I just found it in a store down the street and it's got tons of corks around my house because of the bottles. Sometimes it's a very small bottle, not many deck of cards fit in there. But I use it to store my spider pen. Just for gigs, because I'm actually going to I'll probably start using this at gigs now. Yeah, that actually makes the gig cut. So I wanted a thing that was going to store it, which was going to be solid, perfect. So that's just an idea. I don't know what else you could use. Just find any sort of container, but it's just a nice way to just kind of store your problem. Let's see if I can get there. Okay, this is 14 minutes, this review. I got to shut this down. Thanks for watching Magic Friday. Sorry it's so long. Have a great one. I will see you next week.